Good morning and welcome to this week's weekly soul guidance with me, Rebecca of Libra Lights. How are you doing? So as you can see, I'm back home. Camper vanning travels have come to an end. It was an absolutely fabulous experience. The main thing for me is exploring and finding new places. So really enjoyed it. The last week in Surrey wasn't as enjoyable because the weather took a turn for the worse. So I think we were lucky with the weather up until then. So we just really wanted to experience and understand, all the ins and outs of camper money, ready for when we travel in Europe next January to March. But we are glad to be back home with space. It's amazing. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the first thing I've done when I've got back home is set this table up behind me with all of my crystals and my cards on it. And I cannot tell you how happy it's made me feel. As you know, I've not been in this flat for long. I think we moved in April from a big 5-bedroom house. And the room I was in there was massive and spacious. And it's taken me until now to make this room have the correct energy in it. And I think I've managed to do it. I've put all my feathers up on the wall as well. Prior to us moving into this flat, there was the gentleman that was here before was very ill, and he did actually die in hospital. And this room had all of his medication in it. And I think the flat still held the energies of the illness in it. So I've been doing so much clearing of energies, and I think I've finally got there. So behind the chair as well, all my crystals are there. So I love everything being laid out so I can visually see everything and have access to everything. So that's an update of where I am up to. What are we going to focus on today? We're going to focus on the big flipping massive total lunar eclipse that's arriving in the UK tomorrow. If you can't feel the energies of this one, there must be something wrong with you. It's the energies are so strong. I know we've not long had an eclipse. I think it was a couple of weeks back or 3 weeks back, so we're in big eclipse season. This one feels massive tomorrow, and maybe it's different for different people. My moon is in Taurus, and this total lunar eclipse is in Taurus. So I think that's why I'm feeling it so much. The way that I'm feeling it is, it's up and down. One day the energies will floor me, and like today I'm riding on the energies. I'm like feeling full of energy today. So it's been very up and down for me. But I think as we lead up to it tomorrow, it's going to become even more intense. So in the UK, I think it begins, is it 11:01 a.m. and Pacific time, that's 3:01 a.m. in the morning. So depending on where you live, you'll feel the intensity of it when it's at its peak at different times. And there's a big message coming through to say, be conscious or aware, have a think about what you'll be doing at those times. So if you're going to be in work in a meeting that is going to be a bit tense, then think about what you can do with your energy during that meeting. What energy do you need to be in? Because whatever's happening during that time will be intensified by the eclipse energies. And just a reminder, I said this in my last eclipse video, the energies hang around for 6 months, but the events of the eclipse normally manifest around the time of the eclipse. Eclipses and full moons are all about endings and completions. So you could find things ending and completing during this week. And that could be anything from relationships to jobs to contracts. It doesn't always have to be bad, but usually it's something that needs to end in your life. For me, I think it's going to be around my overeating and eating junk food. I'm feeling a big pull to really get a grip on that because it affects my energy. So I think that's what's being highlighted to me, this eclipse. But what will help is pulling some cards around it, which is what we're going to do today. Now, I've come up with my own card layout, which I'm quite proud of. You'll see it in the images with this post. And I'm going to pull some cards for the collective, but I encourage you to use this layout and do it for yourself and do some journaling on it tomorrow when the eclipse is actually happening. So I've pulled some cards already, and I've got one for each of the 5 cards that are from a different deck, and the decks are all listed in the post. And the first card that we're going to pull then is, what issue is this lunar eclipse highlighting to me that needs to end? So I'm asking this for the collective. So for all of you watching this video in general, what is it that needs to end for us? I've already pulled the cards because otherwise this video is going to go on for ages. And this card, and I've not looked at it, still not looked at it. This card is from the Magical Light Dimensions deck by Lightstar. Beautifully illustrated. Let's have a look. What issue is being highlighted that needs to end? So we've got the Galactic Guidance card here. Straight away I'm getting Pleiadian energy, and at this time of year, the Pleiadian constellation, the Seven Sisters, is very visible in the sky. So they're very near us at this time of the year. So I'm getting Pleiadian energy. And Pleiadians, I've got 2 Pleiadian guides. In fact, you can see them in my painting that my sister did for me with my guides on. There's my 2 twin female Pleiadian guides called Rosie and Daisy. And it's funny that there's 2 on here as well. And doesn't she look like that one? Brilliant. Pleiadians are all about getting things done. Their motto is just do it. And my primary cosmic blueprint is Pleiadian. I talk fast, I do lots of things, I'm action, action, action. So what needs to end, I'm hearing from the Pleiadians, is procrastination. Stop putting things off. So have a big think about what it is that you're putting off. That now needs to come to an end, and it's time to actually go out and flipping do it. Okay? That's the issue that needs to come to an end, and that's definitely with me. I keep thinking about eating sensibly, and I do it for half a day, and then in the evenings I'm back to eating crappy stuff again. And I'm not going to beat myself up over that, by the way. If you're having the same problem, sometimes we just need comfort, don't we? However, I know that by eating junk food, that lowers our vibration. So law of attraction, if there's something that you want to manifest, eating stuff that brings your vibration down is not going to help you manifest it. So there does at some point, we need to get a grip on it, okay? So second card, the Earth. So as I said, in eclipse, a lunar eclipse is when the Earth comes between the sun and the moon. And the moon lies in the shadow of the Earth. So in this spread, I've decided that the Earth card, number 2, we're going to ask what's getting in the way of this issue coming to an end. And for this, I pulled 2 tarot cards from the Kim Kranz Wild Unknown deck. 2 came out. So let's have a look. Wow. The Tower card and the Son of Cups. So what's getting in the way? We're not letting the Tower fall down. And we've got the Son of Cups. So let's have a big think about this. We're not letting the Tower come down. So in what way are we not letting this come down? I feel like the Tower is our emotions. And we're just so adamant that we're not going to let these emotions out. That the Tower's like this. I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to let my emotions come crashing down. I'm going to stay strong. This is the energy that I'm getting as a collective. No, we need to stay strong. It's a bit like the energy of the generation that went through World War One and World War Two. The only way to survive was just by getting through the day and pushing emotions down. And that's the kind of energy I'm getting here. So what's getting in the way of this issue coming to an end? Our stubbornness to not show emotions, along with the Son of Cups. So as we know, the cups in the minor arcana is all about emotions. The Sun is the Knight of Cups, so this is a very youthful energy, and younger people are often more expressive with their emotions because they've not been through the trials and tribulations of life, of when you get to adult age, where we just learn it's a trait, isn't it, to hold emotions in and not show them. So I think we need to embrace some of this Son of Cups energy. It's water and emotion as well, the cup says. So this totally confirms what I was saying about us trying to hold our emotions, trying to hold it together. But I think we're being told here at this total eclipse time, it's time to just let it go. Let it go in whatever way helps. So it could be watching a really sad program. If you need help with that, go to Netflix and watch From Scratch. You will cry so much that you won't need to cry again for 10 years. It could be listening to a sad song that you know that brings the tears out. If it's anger that needs to come out, get a cushion and scream into it. What emotion is it that you're holding in that needs to come out? Maybe it's something that you need to say to somebody as well. I'm hearing. Okay, so next on my tarot spread is the Sun. So what's igniting this situation and what's stoking the fire? So a card I've pulled here is from the Akashic Records Oracle. I cannot remember who created this, but I will put it in the description. So what is igniting this situation? What's stoking the fire? So we've got card number 10 from this deck, which is the light of the world. And wow, there's a fire in the card. Let me drink my tea. Throat chakra's going. Love it. There's a fire in his lamp. So what's igniting these emotions? This card talks about, so you probably can't see, but there's a young lad here in the house, and there's somebody knocking at the door, and this lad isn't hearing who's knocking at the door. So what's igniting this situation of, as a collective, us holding our emotions in, is we're not listening. We're not getting in tune with ourselves. We're ignoring our emotions knocking at the door. We're ignoring them. So can you give yourself some time to close your eyes and go internal and ask yourself, what emotions are there for me to connect with? Because if you don't, all you're doing is adding fuel to this fire, and it's just going to be a massive eruption. I know we got the Tower card, but you can, sometimes we think the Tower is quite scary of things coming crashing down. But I'm hearing that if you can set this time aside and internally go in and say what emotions are there, then it won't be so much of a big or a collapse. It will be a nice journey if you can do it that way. So card number 4, the Moon. What is it that we're not seeing in this situation? Now, a brilliant deck to ask that question with is the Blind Spot by Teal Swan. So with this deck, every card is about what are you not seeing, what's hidden that needs to come to the surface. So I thought, what a brilliant deck to use for this question. And the moon card in the tarot, and the moon itself is about something being hidden from you that you're not seeing. So the card that's come out for that, let's have a look, is card number 2 with that sigil. Now, I have to read the book with this card because I have no idea what that sigil means. So let's go to card number 2. So what is it that we're not seeing that could bring this issue to an end? And it says self-concept. So I'll just hold that up because that sigil gives off the energy that you need for healing around this. So if you've drawn this sigil, your blind spot is your desire to see yourself and for other people to see you as a good person. The ego is a singular identity that you call by your name. It is an amalgamation of all the things you identify with, the things you call I, me, or mine. Ego is self-concept. Because we are raised relationally dependent in a society in which our survival depends upon each other and has for thousands of years, the only way for ourselves to survive is if we are in the good favour of the rest of the social group. The rest of the social group, beginning with our parents when we were young, have to approve of us. They only approve of us if we are good. That is, if we are being in a way and doing things in a way that is deemed good by the specific individual around us. There is no real clear distinction amongst humans between doing bad and being bad. Therefore, the single most important thing to the human ego or sense of self is to believe itself to be good. This means you have been making other people the bad one in order to see yourself as the good one. You've been spending your life consciously trying to become anything that you associate with goodness and trying to see that in yourself. At the same time, you've spent your life trying to avoid the things you associate with badness, and your mind will actively avoid seeing these traits in yourself. We tend to be completely unable to see when we are being or doing something in a way that we've been taught is bad, such as hurting other people. In order to avoid shame, we cope by deflection, denial, and reframing so we can believe ourselves to be good. If you've drawn this sigil, the painful truth that you have to face relative to this situation is that you are telling yourself that you are doing good and right, when in fact, if you were completely self-aware as well as aware of the objective truth of the entire situation, you are the one who is currently doing what you yourself would consider to be bad or wrong. If you wish to transcend this blind spot, you must be willing to feel the ineffable discomfort of seeing the parts of yourself that fit into the category of badness. You have to be willing to see the impact you are having on other people. You have to commit to seeing yourself through their eyes and from their perspective. And ultimately, instead of separating from them by making them bad and yourself good, you must practice taking them as part of yourself. Ask yourself, what am I unwilling to see, admit to, accept, and show to other people about myself because it would make me see myself as bad or them see me as bad? So this card talks to me about the shadow side of ourselves, the side of ourselves that we don't want to see, that we push down. And I did say that eclipses and moons are about completion and ending. And maybe the completion and ending is us doing some shadow work to see which part of ourselves it is that we're ashamed of, that we're pushing down, that we're not getting in touch with, bringing it into the light and then releasing it. So it also talks about how we are, always pursuing and wanting people to see us as good because of how we were raised in the way that we seek approval. So doing good things as a child, we got approval. And then we spend all of our life, don't we, seeking that approval from others by always trying to show the good side of ourselves. So I think there's something here about allowing your real self to be seen and not being ashamed. I think when she's talking about bad, it's not necessarily talking about, maybe criminal acts that we've committed. I think going back to myself, it could be this overeating. It could be TV binging, Netflix binging. It could be overspending, going into our overdrafts, just little things like that. What is it that we're kind of pushing down and not facing to try and fix it? What is it? What is the shadow thing, the shadow aspect of yourself that needs to come out? And final card, and this is from a tarot deck, and it's called the Labyrinth deck. Again, I don't know who it is, but it will be in the description of the video. So what will the outcome be if this issue doesn't come to an end? And we've got the Hermit card, so a big major arcana card. I love this deck, and look at the similarities. He's like the Hermit, isn't he, in this middle card that we pulled for what's igniting the situation. So Hermit's come out twice. At first I did think this was the Death card because it looks like he's got the is it the scepter? And death is about things coming to an end. But no, this is the Hermit card. So what will be the outcome if this issue doesn't come to an end? I think the outcome that I'm feeling from this card is that we will become what's the word? Come on, help me out, Metatron. Just become more insular. Because that's what the Hermit's about. I always think about, the wise sage that spent 10 years in a cave, not associating with the outside world. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting is we'll just what's the word? Hide ourselves away from the world more and more and more and more until we don't go out, until we don't socialize, until we don't experience the pleasure that comes with life. This light will just get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer if we don't deal with these issues that need to come to an end at this lunar eclipse. We'll get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's what I feel that this card is telling us will be the outcome if we don't deal with these issues, if we don't deal with our shadow side, if we don't allow these emotions to be released. Okay. Also, for this reading, I've been using the Amanda Ellis Light in the Dark spray. It's like a gorgeous minty spray, a minty smell. You can get that off Amanda Ellis's website. I am not an affiliate. I don't get anything for that. I just love her sprays and working with them. And Light in the Dark, Midnight Indigo, I think, is a great spray to work with during this solar eclipse. So that's the end of the reading. Hope you found that useful, and as I've said, use the image with this post to go and pull those 5 cards for yourself. So now, new thing, I did it for the first time last week. At the end of all my videos, I'm going to bring through my ancient soul language. So as a soul, this is a language I've spoken in many, many lifetimes. And I'm going to ask it to come through with the intention of giving you guys who are watching this video the energy that you'll need to navigate the journey of this total lunar eclipse for the next 6 months. So all you need to do is just listen and see what energies you get from the language. So you can either close your eyes down and listen, or keep them open and listen along with me, and I will just end the video at the end of when the language stops, and have a great week, if I don't see you before then. So let's just close our eyes and take the energy into the heart space. Big deep breath and setting the attention that this ancient soul language gives everybody watching this video. The energy that they need to navigate this total lunar eclipse. And as I've got my hands on my chest, my heart is beating so strongly. There's a lot of heart energy coming through in this soul language. Oh gosh, Kalamana kasha fashala kush 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 ramana kalashakasa. Saramana lakasha fash. Kalamala fashala ramana karash kalamana shakasa. Sara kamana lashakasi. Siki. Kuramala kashasi. Saramalana kasha namana kasha fukashala manaka. Karamalana kasha gafu shakamana kalashakanaka. Karamalana kashaka shakala manakasha faku shakana kamala kasha. Big deep breath. Karamala kanaka shafuka shakala manakara manakala fushuka manakara manakala kalakamana kashuko fakala manakara manaka. Kuramalana kara fashukana manakara manakala fa la manakasha kuku 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 ramanakasha la fakasha. Big deep breath. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.